It's Friday, April 12th, 2024. I am Jay Cleveland Payne. This is Things You Might Have Heard. 8 stories in the queue for you for this morning, covering information, politics, current events, and pop culture news. And we'll explain what the queue is and how they got conversational after we finish the headlines. So you'll get the news and we'll explain why and how you got that news. Plus, at the end of the show, we have today things, some fun things for today to get you a little extra knowledge, to get you going forward this Friday. And it is Friday, April 12th, 2024. Glad to have you with us along with today. Quick reminder that our website is a conversationproject.com for more details on how we do things around here. Anytime you want to figure out how it goes. And you can also email us for comments and conversation at the conversation inbox, oddly enough, the conversation inbox at gmail.com. As I said, 8 stories in the queue for the day. No particular order as they're being presented, but we will tell you the top 2 stories are pretty obvious, and we will point that out as we go along for the morning. Let's get into the morning with headline number 1. This was not the top story of the day. The number 1 story we'll explain and probably get you the reason why. But this was a story that had overtaken all of cable news as of about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, after they had time to kind of work things up, even if they worked in a few Trump stories in the way. The headline is, of course, O.J. Simpson's former football star acquitted of murder dies at 76. We finally have the demise, if you will, of O.J. Simpson, Oldall James Simpson. And we're going to refrain from pretty much all the jokes, all the banter, all the just bad takes on this. Not because we don't have any. Trust me, there are plenty to give. It's just they've all been done, and all been done sometimes very well, some not so well, over the past day or so, as people essentially waiting for this day to happen. A lot of folks essentially waiting for OJ to go away officially. And that has now happened. The former football star, the college standout, and of course Heisman Trophy winner and player. This here is pictured in his Buffalo Bills gear. Also played for the San Francisco 49ers. Was acquitted for the murder of ex-wife Nicole Brown Simpson and her friend Ron Goldman. That was, if you aren't of age at the time, that happened literally when I was in college, and I sat in my dorm room watching the chase on TV while people were saying, "Dude, Payne, your truck's on TV," because I had a white Bronco, just like O.J. Simpson did. And essentially the Bronco was killed because of the O.J. Simpson incident. No pun intended in that one, trust me. Legal battles and controversies going along the way, health issues, of course, in his later life. And as a person who seemed to have no friends, but seemed to always get through things, finally succumbing to a battle with prostate cancer at the age of 76. We are sending love, prayer, and hope to the family of O.J. Simpson, oddly enough, because there are people who will miss O.J. And there's also love, prayer, and positive thoughts to people who were affected by the actions. Some of them have been proven or not of Mr. Simpson over time. This story was the number 1 story for yesterday. And this was a kind of a blurb, a late one that just kind of popped in there. But you had plenty of time to give it the love that I guess you want to give it, because it's a Harry and Meghan story. And the Harry and Meghan stories always play big for our audience. Prince Harry and Duchess Meghan announced 2 new Netflix series, including a lifestyle show. Trouble for money is something that shouldn't come around anytime soon for Harry and Meghan, because right now they're going back to Netflix. After being dropped from podcasts and things like that and looking like their luster was lost, they're going back to Netflix with 2 new shows on the way. One's going to focus on cooking and be curated by Meghan herself. Well, there you go. Meghan Markle being her own Rachel Ray. Celebrating the joys of cooking, gardening, entertaining, and friendship. The other one revolving around world professional U.S. polo, because Harry's like polo. I'm not sure how much pub you'll get. I'm sure the lifestyle one will get more pub than the other one. I'll watch that one. I'm not sure if I'm watching polo. But 2 new docuseries coming to Netflix will make sure that money will go into the Sussex's hands for the time being, as they are, of course, no longer royals. So they have to work more or less like the rest of us, if you can say that. Let's go to story number 3 this morning. The headline for the 3rd story is DJ Mister Cee, longtime radio staple who worked with Biggie and Big Daddy Kane, dies at 57. Now, we probably should have put the story of Taylor Swift and the fact that her music's back on TikTok right as her new album's coming out, because that's a more big, impactful story. This is about me today. This is my childhood. This is a story at number 3. DJ Mister Cee brings up long time good tidings and thoughts of being in middle school and high school, listening to Big Daddy Kane on the tapes. Yes, on tapes, on cassette players and boom boxes, on the way back and forth from school, as I was going to school overseas, and we rode these big luxury buses, so these long trips to the military schools, or shouldn't say military school, the American high schools and middle schools, because we lived way, way out in the middle of nowhere. And so they hired up buses, they hired up locals to drive us in city buses to get back and forth to school. And a lot of times we listened to music like Big Daddy Kane and, of course, Ice-T, which big fundamentals in my childhood. Mister Cee is a big deal on that one. Of course, known professionally as Mister Cee, Calvin LeBrun passed away at the age of 57, confirmed by multiple sources, including his last affiliate radio station, which was 94.7 The Block, and his former employer, Hot 97 in New York City. He was a big-time legendary figure in the world of hip-hop back in the DJ days, when the DJs got 1 or 2 tracks on the albums to just do some mixes, and of course working some stuff for Big Daddy Kane, so effectively discovering him and showing him to the world so he got his big influence. We are going to miss Mister Cee. We're going to miss him big time, and like I said, my childhood literally disappearing before my eyes, and not that much older than I am, which is also pretty shocking. Let's go to story number 4 for this morning. The headline for that story reads, Harvard reinstates mandatory SAT scores for applicants. Harvard's not the only school doing this, but many schools are following suit with this one. But specifically, Harvard has reinstated requirements for SAT or maybe ACT based on where you are for test scores. A return to the pre-pandemic admission policy. The decision follows similar moves by other prestigious institutions, as I said, Yale and MIT, 2 of those in particular. Harvard is defending this policy change by emphasizing the value of outstanding standardized test scores, providing a consistent metric for assessing academic preparedness across a diverse applicant pool, i.e., there's no actual standard to vote people on, so they have to have the standardized test. It's there. Now, they're not saying that the old ways, or the new ways, I guess, technically, because they went new for no test, worked or didn't work. They're just saying it's easier to test people on a standard and rate them there going forward. Like I said, many strategic schools, big time schools, prestigious schools, those are the schools, are going back to the mandatory test scores for these things and essentially keeping the SATs and ACTs alive, not quite letting them die, because don't need them. Why have them? Is it a conspiracy? I don't know. I just know that Harvard is a big time school. It's going big time back with testing for their application programs. Will that affect your application? It probably will. Let's move on to story number 5 this morning. The headline for this story reads, Ex-Shohei Ohtani, a interpreter, negotiating guilty plea with federal authorities. And at this point, he's essentially going to turn himself in, I believe today. The former interpreter for MLB star Shohei Ohtani, his name is Epe Mishara, is going to turn himself in as he's accused of embezzling about $16 million from Otani, which he allegedly used to cover sports gambling debts. That's a lot of sports gambling debts. A lot of attention due to the amount involved in there, and of course the fact that Otani seems like the nicest guy in the world and had this guy essentially running his life for him as his interpreter and his ears and eyes for the world, yet he was able to pull the rug under him for this one. Essentially, the story started off with Otani gave him the money to pay off some gambling debts to be done with it. Then it turned into, no, he actually had been stealing it from him. Many folks want a piece of him in this one, this being a Mizahir. We'll see how this thing plays out when he turns himself in, I believe today, to the feds. Let's go to sports. Again. As Tom Brady is, quote, not opposed, unquote, to coming out of retirement to help NFL team in need of a QB. Tom Brady expressed that he's not opposed to coming out of retirement and playing football and being a quarterback and helping a team win stuff again. Comes after his second retirement, of course, announced in 2023, where he said, done for good. Well, of course, he said that the first time. The 46-year-old quarterback, known for his legendary NFL career, has hinted at potentially returning to the field, and this may or may have nothing to do with the fact that he essentially is not rating as well in his test runs as a commentator. Now, Tom Brady, even when he was playing, and even the last year where he didn't play, I guess he didn't play. I can't really, I've forgotten at this point, has been doing commentary with Jim Gray on the radio for quite some time because he's Tom Brady. And so we know what he sounds like. We know what he does. His commentary, of course, we're not quite there yet. He's not getting quite the Tony Romo treatment, as Tony Romo was seen as a genius in the booth, even if he wasn't so great as a football player. Tom Brady, a genius on the field, Maybe not so much in the booth, so maybe he'll play a couple more years of football, or maybe he's just trolling us because he's Tom Brady and can do that because Tom Brady. The number 7 story. Iowa will retire Caitlyn Clarks number 22 jersey. Quote, there will never be another. Get that quote straight. Put some respect on the words. And the number for Caitlyn Clarks, number 22, going to be retired by the University of Iowa this season. An honor for remarkable achievements and contributions to the women's basketball program and to women's basketball in general. Her career storied with breaking records all over the place and just being America's sweetheart and doing things out with Angel Reese. And unfortunately, 2 shots at the apple for a national championship and losing them both. One to Angel Reese and LSU, and the second one this year to the Gamecocks of South Carolina. So Don Staley gets record books on her end. The one record that could not be taken by Clark is the actual title championship. So congratulations to Caitlyn Clark for getting this and having her jersey retired, because it means something. It means a lot. And finally, number 8 story for this morning. The headline reads, Monopoly movie. Margot Robbie's company, LuckyChap to produce a film. They are the lucky ones to produce the Monopoly movie. Now, the Battleship game turned into a movie where aliens invaded and somehow they were playing against battleships. The Barbie movie was a movie that turned into a actual satire on the patriarchy, which I loved, even though I didn't know what I was going into it, but I loved the movie. The Barbie people are going to do the Monopoly movie, which may not have her in it at being Margot Robbie, which would help probably. But Mr. Monopoly will get the big time treatment. This movie has been in production sort of hell for about a decade, or at least the rights to have been. And Robbie now has the chance to produce this movie going forward. And because Robbie wants to do more things that are deal with, fun stuff, but not necessarily Barbie 2. Lionsgate has the rights and extended it to Monopoly when it bought out Hasbro Entertainment 1, or E1 as it is. Invented in 1904 by left-wing American feminist called Lizzie Magie, and hit the mainstream 30 years later. I'm not sure why she's left-wing leaning feminist, but Robot Editor pulled that out, and so we know AI sometimes can be a little fuzzy. Maybe a lot fuzzy. I don't think the left-wing American feminist was necessary, but it was a big game. It taught a lot of people how to deal with money in a time when there was no money in 1908. 04, I should say. Errors, apologies, and omissions. I'm going to apologize for the way the Robot Editor wrote that last story of the Monopoly movie and how Monopoly was created by a left-wing American feminist. Maybe it was. It probably should not have been so harsh. But we always use this point to sneak in one more story very quickly. We teased this one yesterday, so we make sure we got some info on this one. InNOut president Lindsay Siders went toe-to-toe to keep menu prices down. She says the billionaire heiress of the InNOut burger legacy and the president of the action company has been actively involved in efforts to keep the prices for fast food chains down for what they can do. The problem is $20 an hour minimum wage for California. Now, you may have seen in the viralness of stuff, $25 meals at McDonald's, which are specifically because of $20 an hour cost for the employees in California. You'll see more of those things going forward. And as I say for these stories, how you feel about this is how you feel, because your mileage may vary. We're going to talk about a teaser story for Monday now, because today is Friday, so we won't join in this thing here for Things You Might Have Heard again till Monday morning. So you have a chance to take the weekend to vote this one in, and this will take a while to go through because this is a Friday story, so it's got to survive Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and a teeny little bit of Monday going forward. The feeds, how we got the stories for you today. We took 8 stories from the top 15 stories from this morning, or from yesterday, and put them in this morning's cast for you. So for Monday, we're going to take 10 stories to present to you. They'll be from the top 30 stories from the weekend. We get about 30 or so plus stories a day, and you get a chance to vote them up with your engagement. Go to our website. This is theconversationproject.com, and find details about that, or just go straight to follow us on our feeds, facebook.com/thisistheconversationproject, and twitter.com, x.com as well, /th_conversation. When a story pops up every 50 minutes or so, we intro a new story from various sources. Like, love, hate, share, and engage in the story before we have a chance to talk about it. Higher engagement score, better chance we'll talk about the story come next day. Here's the headline we may talk about if you deem it worthy. 99 cents only stores is winding down its business operations. 99-cent stores, 99-cent only stores by name are shutting down across the nation because they can't raise their prices and look like they're making any sense. We talked yesterday about the Dollar Tree going up with Dollar Tree and plus $7 items. Five Below and more have items at up to $8 in a place. And I believe some places may have $9 items at Five Below. A store called 99-cent store can't really do that, even though a store called Dollar Tree shouldn't do it either, but they do. We're going to talk about the demise of dollar stores and 99 cents in general. We can do that with your engagement of the story come Monday. Monday morning, we'll see who has the most votes. And if this is one of them, we will see about getting into the lineup for the 10 stories we present for you on Monday, come Monday, where it will be all right. Let's talk about our sponsor in the spotlight this morning. This happens to be Resume Solution. It is now April, so we are 4 months, past the first quarter, almost full 4 months into the year. And you've had a chance to kind of see the horizon that's in front of you, what can be coming to you, or kind of see in the past and see what's going on there. This might be the time to make a change. We are past pandemic, so you don't have to fear about not having any jobs. But now may be the time to move on to something that may have been delayed because of pandemic fears and just craziness of job markets going forward. Or you may love your job. You just may want to see yourself in a different light and basically update your resume just to see how well you're doing for great things. Go to Resume Solution and they can help you out with the resume update. They can also guarantee you more actual applications and more actual interviews for jobs with a better resume. What they can't really guarantee you'll get a new job. That's all kind of up to you, but they can help you out with getting your best foot forward by writing down on paper the things that are most awesome about you. And they have a free resume review on what you have to tell you what doesn't look so great, what does look kind of great, and where things you can fix. Then, of course, they'll help you fix it if you pay them. That's how it works. And if you pay them, they will pay us a small commission for bringing you in there. And that's why we have this link, which is an affiliate link to provide for you to check out Resume Solution. This is theconversationproject.com/resume solution. This is theconversationproject.com/resume solution. Get your resume updated today. It may not be time to necessarily look for that next job, but you never know when that time comes. You may find yourself in a spot where you are forced to because you're forced out, or you may find where the perfect job is there and you need the resume ready to go to just make that leap going forward. Resume Solution can help you out moving forward in your career or just clearing up what your career looks like to you if you need that assistance. Conversation Project lives online at this is conversationproject.com. Check us out on our website because we provide for you information all day, all night about what we do and how we do it at this is conversationproject.com. We also need you to stop by our feeds and email us because we need those things to get work done. If you stop by the feeds, as we said, and engage in the stories, we know what stories to talk about in the next iterations. Engaging with us via email lets us know what to do to improve on the work we're doing. So email us at theconversationinbox@gmail.com. And we ask this basically every single day, sometimes more direct than others. But we ask that if you deem us worthy of greatness, we can use your help by partnering with us. So go by our partnership page and see if there's a way for you to connect directly with us. We'll talk about the partners we have in just a moment with a quick spotlight for them for Friday in just a bit. But you can always find more about us at our website. This is conversationproject.com. As I say, the partnerships page is there. The sponsors page is there. Links to past episodes, if you will, past newsletters are there as well. And links to where you can find us in various forms, from audio, from video, to just plain out text. It's there at the website. So check it out today. And now, today, as it's Friday, we have the Friday edition, the April 12th Friday edition of the fun stuff. Things that you might not have heard today things, if you will. And we have a grand birthday we're celebrating. Shannen Doherty is 53 years old on the day. Now, she may not be having such a great day, a grand time, as she is dealing with her health issues, but we want to make sure that she gets all the flowers she can right now and all the love she can as she battles what she's doing. A beloved actress, even though some people didn't quite get along in the later years as she's been battling her illnesses and just kind of, reflecting on life. Many people have been watching her and getting inspiration for what she's doing. Shannen Doherty turning 53 years old on the day. We also have David Letterman, who's 77 today, and Ed O'Neill, who's 78. So love to the old guys, Ed O'Neill and David Letterman, but much love to Shannen Doherty turning 53 years old on this day. Our history lesson, our history lesson is from 2007, where we talk about the Forever stamp, which went on sale today for its first time in 2007. I don't have the notes in front of me, but the Forever stamp was essentially a way to keep from having to buy new stamps as stamps prices were starting to increase so frequently. So you buy a stamp now, and it has the forever value of a standard postage stamp. And so every couple of years when stamp prices go up, just because you had a bunch of extra stamps, you don't have to go out and buy the extra 3 cents to add on to the stamps go forward. Your stamps are good forever. And that's how they work out there, happening for us in the States here in 2007. Your word for today is dapper. Dapper meaning marked up to dateness in dress and manner, being dapper, being up to date, being fashionable, if you will. This is a word coming to you from the Big Words Project. More information about the Big Words Project, and you can follow along and get the email newsletter for the Big Words of the Day anyway at thebigwordsproject.com. And we're going to celebrate Only Child Day today. A few days back, we went with Siblings Day because if you have siblings, it's a day to spotlight them and show love for them. But what about the child who has his own, or is its own, if you will? Only Child Day takes care of that one. Celebrate your only childness today. I have 2 children who are so far apart, they might as well be only children, so they see themselves as that, except when they plot against us. But only if you are an only child, this day is the day to shine, point your finger at yourself as being an only child, and point a finger at everybody else because they should love you, which in most cases for only children is just every day. They pretty much are like that every single day, but they gave you a day officially, unofficially on the calendar. So go ahead and shout it out as your only child day today. And now, quick look into talking about our partners and our sponsors. If you're watching the video, you're seeing the crawl and you're seeing the names of our sponsors. We have partners on the site. We give hype to them and thank them for subscribing to our webcast and helping us out through things. On Fridays, as a byproduct offshoot of the $2 Hollow Tuesdays, we allow people to get a shout out on Fridays based on $2 paid via Venmo or Cash App. And once again, Christine with a K is in with a K shout out, kindness, asking for kindness on, I guess, today, the week, forever. So Christine with a K wants more kindness from you guys. So see what you can do about that. Okay. She paid $2 with the shout out. So see what you can do to take care of that one. Let's take care of the whole shebang and get out of here on this day. It's Friday, April the 12th, 2024. My name is Jay Cleveland Payne. This has been Things You Might Have Heard for this day. Thank you so much for joining us for the shows, whether you saw us all week long or you watched us live as we started recording at 5:50 a.m. Central Time, or you watched the recording throughout the day. We thank you very much for all this stuff. It's Friday, so we're prepping for the weekend stuff. I am preparing a bit of a obituary for O.J. Simpson, because his ordeal, big part of pop culture in my life. Specifically, the whole "I own the white Bronco" looked like O.J. Simpson when the chase was going down. So it means something there, and what it means to the current state of how we cover things and how news is just way overblown. I'll have something on that coming up for the weekend. Also, the weekly wrap-up will give you top 10 stories. We don't have them racked out yet, only up till Thursday, so I've got to do what stories are already good. We don't have the Friday stories in there, so we'll tell you tomorrow what stories on Saturday we produce this. What news stories were the top 10 stories per your engagement, the stories that you said were the most engaging. And right now, looking at the stories up to Thursday, I believe 7 or 8 of them were stories you actually covered throughout the week. We didn't do a bad job of not picking the stories you wanted, so we'll see what happens with that one. Of course, come Monday, where it will be all right, we'll be back with Things You Might Have Heard, and we'll know what stories we're talking about as you engage with them all weekend long. Don't forget about us during the weekend. Check out our feeds as you check out other feeds on Facebook or X/Twitter, and engage in the stories that you like, love, or hate, or share them as well. And the higher engagement we get for the 10 stories we'll get to you, we'll get them out there come Monday. Other than that, stay limber, stay hydrated, do less mouth clicks. So that means stay hydrated. Stay on task for all the grand things you are here to do. We love you. We mean it. Rolling into another great weekend. So speak it into existence. And we will see you guys for a grand edition for the recorded things come tomorrow, and live to you at 5:50 a.m. Central Time come Monday for the next edition of Things You Might Not Have Heard.